Yo yo guys, what's up? Today I've invited Rem Siman. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, well,
Just
people actually pronounce it differently. I say Rem Siman, people say Rem Siman, people say all sorts of things.
because
So it doesn't matter to me, man.
I'm
Honestly.
Latino, so it's well, it doesn't have an accent in the A, but that's how I would say it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Rem or Remo, he's gonna show us his release on Eelke's label called Face the Music, and I'm a huge fan of his music. I discovered him through this release, but after that, I checked out all of the other stuff, and it's just high quality, dude. It's clean,
Thanks, man.
it's simple, it's punchy. There's some cool shit, and it's all it's that's all I want in music. That's all I want to see. That's all I want people to check out, to know how to make this kind of stuff. So, man. Yeah, you can take it over. By the way, Remy is based in Australia, so
Yep.
he woke up extra early for this session. So
At least you let me have brekkie first, so it's all good.
yeah, so you can take over, man. You can take over and can just play us a little bit of the track, and
Yeah,
so people
sure.
get
Well,
a
so this is the track here. It's called Face the Music. I'll just let it play for a bit.
You are now in the state of suspended animation. For the right vibration, it takes a certain sound. You can't dispute this truth. Face the music.
Anyway, so I feel like that's a good little rundown.
good
It's the
shit.
crux of the whole track.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of nailed it when you said like punchy and simple. Like if you're able to keep a track simple enough whilst keeping it entertaining, or at least it can still hook the listener, like you don't need to overdo it. That's what I think. And so where I like to start with my tracks is with the kick and the bass. And in a lot of my past tracks, I've kind of tried to go fairly complex with the bass lines or something that has a lot of movement and a lot of different sort of notes.
Mm-hmm.
But then for this one, and so the Melbourne bounce sound that was really big maybe 10 years ago when I actually first started getting into electronic music. That's all based on just a kick and an offbeat bass. And I kind of took that concept and I was like, well, what if I use a kick and an offbeat bass just to kind of keep this groove and see what I can create from there. So essentially, this is
So
my low end.
you're inspiring the Melbourne bounce, like the kind of EDM-ish sound from Timmy Trumpet and all these dudes before in those kind of.
Yeah. Well, that's where I first, like ages ago, I'm talking like 10 years ago when I literally first got into electronic music.
Yeah.
That was really big back then. And that's kind of what yeah, got me into this whole thing. And then I went into other genres like techno, Afro house, like a lot more progressive stuff. And kind of tying that all back in, I took that sort of offbeat bass from the Melbourne bounce sound,
Mm-hmm.
and decided to kind of make a track and put my own spin on it. So it's not really Melbourne bounce, but it has the elements of that. It has the kick and the
Melodic
bass from
Melbourne
that.
bounce, we'll call it,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
fucking melodic. It's lovely, man. So yeah.
yeah, sick. Exactly. I don't think it is quite Melbourne bounce, but obviously that's where the roots come from. So usually, as I was saying, I have like midis for the bass in my other tracks, and there's a bit more complexity. But for this one, it's literally just a kick and a bass. So I
Mm-hmm.
got the kick sample here, just a nice punchy kick that I've got somewhere in one of my packs, I'd say, and
Mm-hmm.
then just the bass line. I'm pretty sure I just used a stab that I found because it like rather than trying to synthesize something, I just heard a stab and I was like, okay, well let's use that. So it's just and that's literally the bass line right there.
It never changes, right? Like the harmony of the bass.
No, the bass line stays the exact same the whole way through. The only place that it is different is On this one, I think I consolidated this and just made the bass a little less prominent here.
Okay.
And that's when that's in the build-up section, so that's where it's not meant to be full-on punchy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So with this simple sort of bass line, that was obviously the low end there, done, super simple. So from there, it was actually about making it interesting on top of that. And a big part of this track, and what I think is maybe an underrated part of this track, or at least something that makes this track shine, is the drums and the fill-ins. So let's like kind of, I guess, go through that. So you got the low end here. Then you got the clap. I like to have I'd say I'm following more of an indie dance sort of vibe now. Melodic house or melodic indie dance sort of vibe. And a lot of those comes with strong drums, including like big,
Punchy
loud
snares.
sounding snares,
Yeah.
punchy snares. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I try to do here. And I pretty much just layered a few sounds that I liked. So here's one. That's a clap sound.
Mm-hmm.
Then like a short punchy snare, and then like a longer snare. And that's I've EQ'd it. I'll show you how I've EQ'd it. So I've EQ'd it so it's really, really in the background. Sorry, I've mixed it so it's really in the background.
Yep.
And you can only really hear that last tail end. So when you put it together,
Can you mute it?
it's just yeah.
Yeah.
That's without
it. The stereo field like opens up a lot with this snare hit.
Yeah, exactly. So then you bring it in. And it's such a small little addition, but things like that actually make a big difference if you add them up in all the different layers that you have.
Yep.
So that's the one section of that. And like that alone, that gets me dancing, you know?
Yeah, that's already enough, to be honest, man. Everything you add on top of this is going to be like a plus, you know?
Well, exactly, yeah. And there is a genuine section that is probably one of the more payoff sort of sections of the track where it is almost just that.
Yeah, but this I fucking love this sound, you know?
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad. Like, and the cool thing about this track for me was that I was doing all these other sort of sounds, Afro, melodic techno, you know, progressive stuff, and then I just took the Melbourne Bounce concept and made it into something that really felt like it was me and my sort of sound.
Fuck so, yeah, this is great because a lot of people are following trends, but as soon as you hop in on the stuff you truly like, then it shows, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just so cool that this track especially has been really well received by a lot of people. So yeah, anyway, I'm definitely keen to keep following this sort of vibe. So the next thing from there after the clap, so we got the low, we got the clap, and then we'll go the hats. So this is another element that I think really kind of comes from the indie dance space, is this on beat sort of hat. I'll just solo it.
It's almost adding to the snare as well.
Exactly, yeah. It follows that snare groove.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it just kind of keeps you chugging along, especially with this offbeat bass. I feel like it just really works. So so again, that's just another one. Then we got this little off hat here that I'll add in.
Yep.
Just a nice sound, add some ambience. And also what I've done here, not that it's anything super special, I believe. Oh yeah, that's right. So I've just panned it, so every time it hits, it pans to one side. Yeah.
What is
so
this?
That'll be on the right side.
Gralion.
Gralion. I don't. Oh, okay. So I forgot that I had done this, but I've just pitched the this hat up. So what this does, it's like a formant pitcher or format something. Yeah, and it changes the pitch, and you can preserve the formats in it. Like, I don't really know what it does.
That's spooky production tricks, you know. It's production. That's why it's lovely. Nobody knows what they're doing, but it just works.
Yeah. No. Exactly. And a lot of it for me is just like trying shit. You hear about a plugin and you get it, and you're like, all right, let's just see what we can do.
Yeah. This is the way, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess I forgot about this, but I pitched it up a few semitones and preserved some of the formats. Must have just sounded good. Anyway, so then the next one. So this ride, I don't usually use kind of ride sounds in my tracks, but this one, again, just added to the energy so well. And like, so what I tend to do with my loops, and so let me just say this. So a lot of the time I try and steer clear from solely just using loops and chucking loops in and just seeing what they do. But a lot of the time as well, if it fits and it works and it sounds good,
Yeah.
like I just use them, go for it. But what I've done, I like to, especially with my loops, at least manipulate them in some way or maybe change them a bit just so it's not just a dry sample that's just been chucked in. So with this ride, for example, so here on these ones, you can see that the transients on the beat. So what I've done, I've changed this to beats. I've put this to this forward-facing arrow, and then if you play with this here, so let's just like loop this. So you can hear it's like it's cutting out the tail of the transient if you push it back down to lower. But then as I increase it, it actually
Makes it.
you'll
Yeah.
hear what I mean. Yeah, sorry. So
Kind
like
of fucks with the decay or something of the sample. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, for example, when I first bring this ride in, it's nice and low. Then it gets a little bit higher. And kind of as the track goes on, I just increase the energy just to give it some building sort of character.
What Ableton are you on?
I think this is just 11.
Because I think 11 already has the ability to modulate the transient. So that thing, which wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you don't have the version that has it. I think.
Oh, maybe I need to get an updated version. That was in 11? They added that?
I don't remember which version of 11, but it can be modulated now. So you don't have to. Because I used to do this as well, where I chop the clips up, do this for the intro, then have the big moment with a little bit more decay because you want the drums to be a little bit more open, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, it's the same shit, but now you can have it on the clip and you don't have to chop shit up and, eventually you might have get lost and you fuck it up. But now it's in the actual clip that it can be done, so yeah.
Yeah, sick. That makes it a lot easier. I haven't even thought about updating or anything. I'm just happy doing what I do, but that's like a really good update,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm glad to hear about that. Thanks for letting me know. But yeah, so essentially it's like super simple stuff really, but little things here and there just make things sound better. And at the end of the day, you can have all these tricks and do all these cool things, but it's like it's actually about the sounds that you use and how you make them sound together. Like it's such an important thing.
I preach that, man.
Exactly. You could have a terrible mix, but an amazing song that everyone loves.
Yes, fuck yeah. Thank you, man, for saying this. I hope this...
Yeah.
Fuck me. I hope everyone, just catches up to this, That's it. It's not about the fucking mixing. It's about the actual music,
Exactly. 100%. And so if anyone out there is maybe new to this or a beginner or even whatever level you are, obviously you should always be trying to get a better mix and improve your skills and understand these concepts to make it sound as good as possible. But at the end of the day, a hit can be made with anything. It doesn't have to have a perfect mix.
Yes.
It's just, yeah.
Yes.
How it is. Anyway, moving on. So the next hat was just like this little tick sort of hat that I added. So without it, again, just to add some more groove. And then, so that's pretty much all the drums, or at least all the main drums right there that carry the track throughout. So it's that and that. Maybe we'll move to here.
Right, opens up.
Yeah. And then, so I think, the key part of this track as well is this lead sound here, which so when I try and produce music, I usually start with the kick, the bass, and a few drums just to get the groove going. So that's what I kind of did here. And then I don't know where this melody kind of came from in my head. I tend to usually just play around with the MIDI. Let's go maybe here. I found a sound, and I think it was this track. I found a sound here that I've since saved and called Great Lead Sound because I love the sound. Um, and it's had a lot of these cool parameters in here that I can mess with
Mm-hmm.
that makes it all trippy and sound just cool and melodic. And I had to tweak, I think so. Where is it? I had to tweak some of these LFO modulators, and there's a lot going on in this just one sound.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But essentially, it was a preset that I found and I just fucked with and made it into my own sort of thing. And so let's play it from here. Let's go. If I bring this down here, can you still see that? Or
No,
no,
no, it's gone. You have to. It has to be on top of the.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe let me try somewhere over here. Oh, so okay. So essentially, these parameters down here
Yep.
are these three and the cutoff. So
Yep. Yep.
essentially, if I show all the different automation. So with this sound, especially, there's a lot of different automation that's kind of going on. So yeah, like for example, let's just.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So like yeah, like, I'm not going to go through and kind of explain what each of them do, but the main one for me was, I think it was this super high pass like special filter thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have this, which is this one here, so when I brought it all the way to the top, it really it took, I don't know how it kind of influenced me, but as soon as I heard that, I was like, fuck, that would be a really cool way to bring this sound into the track, right? So having it all the way at the top, coming in,
Because
slowly tapering it.
nobody really does this, you know. Like people usually low pass instead of high pass and bring the sounds in, so it's fresh, you know. It's
Yeah,
usually people just low cut and bring the filter open instead. Like the other way around is also a cool way to bring sounds in, you know.
exactly. Yeah, well, so that's exactly what I thought. Because again, when I'm messing around with like little things, I try and think of ideas or ways to do something differently or bring a sound in differently or like whatever it is, just do it a little bit differently because it could sound cool, it could sound weird, but at the end of the day, it's different, so people might like it. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people are always looking for something new. Anyway, so as soon as I kind of heard that, I was like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a cool way to bring it in. And I think
Spend it and
why this track works is when this melody starts coming in, then you're like, oh, okay, you start getting the feeling, and you're like, oh, yeah, like it just puts you in that place. Before that, it's just the beat. You know, it's a nice groovy beat, but then once this melody comes in like that, it kind of gives you that feeling. That's so. Anyway, that's what I really loved about the track. And again, so these MIDI notes was just me messing around. Like literally, I was just going in here, typing them in, pretty much like doing this, and then I'd move this one up here or move these two down here, and just literally just on repeat for who knows, maybe an hour, just going back and forth, tweaking it as you do. So that's pretty much the lead sound. And again, it just kind of automates all the way throughout, like heaps of different automations. This other one here, so this. I'll go through this little automation bit here. So as you can see, this spike comes up. It kind of detunes it. And so at the end of every four bar, at the end of that section, every four times, I would just make a detune again, just to add some flavor. Actually, sorry, I had that wrong. I was actually talking about this one in here. But anyway, you get the idea. Just a lot of automation on different parameters just to keep it interesting.
But you also have these moments where the lead, so it's also like a cool arrangement trick where, you know, the lead becomes like a slower version of itself, you know. And you did that in the MIDI, or you did that with the...
Yep, did that in the MIDI. So again, I wanted to keep that sort of sound the whole way through, but I needed to change it up to keep it interesting. So at this section here, I build up to the dropout, the second drop where everything just kind of drops out, and I changed up the MIDI. So essentially, what I did, so this first MIDI here is just everything is pretty much doubled, and the second one I just went and did it
Muted the
again,
second
but
notes.
exactly, that's
Yeah.
pretty much all I did there. So it's just like that.
Yes, this section is also lovely.
Yeah. And again, same sound, same concept, just change up the notes.
Yep.
Pretty much. Yeah, so what else? We got some secondary notes here. Oh yeah. So this sort of stab sound that comes in on the second drop just to add a bit more grit.
Yep.
It's two sounds here. Again, I'm pretty sure what did I do with this one? Or maybe it was the same. Cravey. I think I used this sound in a previous track.
And what like where are you looking for these sounds? Just random Serum preset packs and shit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, random packs. Actually, a good way to find sounds and quality sounds is actually for me on YouTube. So, just say this. Let's just say you like anima, for example. You can find 1,000 tutorials on how to make an anima sound, and a lot of them are actually very quality. What I like to do is watch those tutorials, and they go through how to actually make the sounds. And then, so rather than just getting the preset and putting it in, I actually follow the tutorial and try and make the sound, because that way you're actually learning something about sound design.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm genuinely not great at sound design, but like just from doing tricks like that, like you learn a lot. So
Yeah.
I find YouTube's a really good one for that. But otherwise, like even Splice has a lot of samples. Sorry, not samples. A lot of
Presets, yeah.
presets that are there to go. Otherwise, a lot of big artists actually have their own preset packs and sample packs as well. So I suggest, like, if you like a certain artist, see if they got a pack and just go get that, and then you can
That's for sure.
get similar sounds.
Also,
Anyways,
I see this.
sorry, you go.
I see this STFU, BST kind of thing in a lot of your leads and stuff. So, what is that doing, dude?
Yeah. So that's essentially it's just a free shaper.
Oh,
So
so
this is
it's
just for a bit of
sidechain.
side chaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
Shut the fuck
Nicky
up.
Romero's.
You think that's what?
Yeah. It is. This is actually a great one. Like it, there are a lot of shaper and sidechain plugins out there, but I use this just because it's free and it's super easy to use.
Yeah.
I pretty much chuck that on most of my drums. Maybe not that one, maybe not that. Oh, well, recently I've been chucking it on pretty much all my drums and a lot of the main sounds, because what I tend to do, even on this, for example, this stab sound, this gritty sort of thing, I put you can't tell in the track that I've cut out this little first bit, but what it does, it actually makes room and headroom for the kick to come through.
Yeah.
And just that little bit is enough for the transit to come through. So so essentially it looks like this, and it's not much. So if this is the one beat, you can see it come here. It's literally just cutting off this little tiny bit here.
Yeah.
And if you do that on most of your drums or most of your leads that is necessary, then
Kick
you're
is
going to
gonna
find that
punch
you have
through.
just
Yeah.
exactly, it's just going to come through better. And like, again, little tiny details like that add up to big changes in the end. So anyway, so this is the next sound that we add. So we got low, drums, hats, lead. So on this drop here, and I also think I have it automating where I'm opening it up, or maybe not. So in the build-up, I'm just kind of doing the same sort of thing. I'm bringing it, like we did with the lead, I'm bringing it from the high down. So it kind of comes in. You can only hear the highs, and then when it drops on the drop, then the bass of this sound comes in and it hits harder. can see down here.
Yeah,
And it's interesting. So the version that I sent to Eelke that he was actually playing like all overseas, I had a lot of like effects. I'm pretty sure I had a lot of delay and reverb on this specific sound. And I'm pretty sure Eelke loved that, because what happened when he asked for the final pre-master, I cleaned up the sound a lot and stripped it back, took a lot of the delay off. But then even after we got the track mastered, Eelke, every time I saw him play it, he would play the version that had all the crazy effects on it, which was interesting because I thought it sounded really messy, but he clearly loved it. So in the final version, in the version that you hear on Spotify, it's stripped back, but the version that Eelke plays is definitely a lot.
but you agreed on this with him, like, well, I mean, because that's a common theme where the artist sees the track some way, and then the guy who's playing it, or like maybe in this case with Eelke, which is he's like a lot more involved, and it's his label, and it's not like a label run by somebody else. It's usually like they'll give you the feedback and you change it. So why did you decide to go with this version, even though Eelke preferred the other one?
Well, so I don't think it was really. We didn't really speak about it. It was just like, hey, can you send me the pre-masters, and we'll get them mastered. And then I was like, yeah, no worries. I'm gonna just clean up a few things and I'll send them through. And then I sent it to him, and he said, yep, this sounds good. Let's go through.
Okay.
But then I think just in his mind when he was playing, maybe he only had that other version on his USB, or maybe he genuinely liked that version better. It could have been. It wasn't something we really spoke about. So,
Yeah. Okay.
But just kind of on that as well, I've sent 2 other tracks to Eelke since then that are looking like they'll be signed, maybe released on the label sometime next year. And those tracks, for example, we've been going back and forth a lot on, especially with the vocals on one of the tracks. But yeah, like it just kind of depends on the track, really. I feel like with this track, he was pretty happy with how it is, but those tracks, yeah, there's maybe a lot more that we need to work on together. So just kind of depends. All right, so the next kind of sound, I guess, was this background lead sound that I introduced pretty early on. So, and again, when it's introduced, you can barely hear it, but if I solo it, you can kind of hear it come through. It's just this bar sound. And in the mix, you can actually barely fucking hear it, but again, it just kind of adds to that ambience. And then so in this section here, it doubles in speed, so it's like building. And again, so I always just got different automations going on different sounds just to make them the movement in tracks, especially if you're doing more progressive stuff. You need to have things moving. Things need to be coming in and out just to stay interesting. You know?
Yeah.
And like it honestly just gets pretty lost in the mix, but it actually without it doesn't sound as full. So having that there definitely helps. So what we got here, we got this, and now so this is actually a very late addition to the track. It was kind of like I had finished the track, but then I was like, okay, I do think I just need to add something in this section. And then I went and I was just looking through some old samples that I had, and I found this sax sound that just kind of had no place really being in the track, but it just worked as well at the same time. So, oh shit, sorry.
No,
sorry,
it's great,
yeah,
dude.
Sorry.
It's great.
Yeah, it just kind of worked. I added a fuckload of reverb on it, a little bit of sidechain, but other than that, like it's pretty much just the raw sound. Bit of delay as well. And yeah, it's just like one of those samples that fit, you know. So I kept it in there, and I feel like people really love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And just repeated it. When it gets to this bit here, like this section is the exact same as this section, but then at the very end of the track, I kind of just added only little bits in there just to keep it familiar, but nothing, not just repeating the same thing. So it's a little bit different here. Like I don't have this bit here, I don't have this last bit here. Again, just kind of mix it up a bit. And so along with the drums, I think these hits are again what really kind of make this track interesting. So what I'm talking about is, and this was kind of a new sort of way to approach music for me as well. Like I wouldn't really put hits like this and random vocal sounds, but I kind of just chopped things up, put them where I thought made sense, and again, it just all kind of fits. So I'll break these down. So this string hit here on every fourth bar or whatever it is.
Yes.
Again. And again, I'm doing some more panning, so it goes left and right. So that's that one sound. Then the next sound, if we add in this Fox hit. Oh, sorry, I'll go to a part where it's more. So then I added that, and again, just added delay, reverb, nothing too much, a bit of a filter, EQ, all the basic stuff. Oh, sorry, I'll keep that open actually. Then what's this sound here? What is this one? Let me just find, I forget what this is. Oh, just another vocal effects to add some more ambience in the background.
Yep, yep.
And then what else we got? The choir hit. So this is a cool one that I really liked. Again, it doesn't seem like it would fit a track like this, but for whatever reason, you chuck it in there, you try it out, and it does, you know? So we got this one here.
Yeah, this is great, man. Yeah.
And then you have the drums.
And it's all kind of question and answer as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it works. It's like this, you know, you have one sound and then it needs a response. It needs
Yeah.
something to fill. Yeah, hit the nail on the head. So what else we got? Choir. This choir sound kind of adds to this other choir sound.
So good.
Yeah, it just kind of works. And I think that may have been from the same pack, to be honest. But let's have a look. And again. So this one, I use the auto pan again to get that left-right sound. And so what I try and do when I'm mixing, so and again, this might be basic to a few of you out there, but the kick and the bass is in the middle for me. The drums, I try and pan to each side. The clap stays in the middle, but then the hats, one might be to the left a bit, the ride might be to the right. For example, this one's to the right, the ride's to the left, just to give it that space with the drums. And then when I do the kind of effects sort of stuff, I tend to just chop and change. So it's kind of not just constantly hitting the same spot. It's always kind of, again, keeping it interesting.
Yeah.
Within the mix and you hear it. So so that's kind of like all the main elements right there, bar maybe the vocal. And then you got some effects just to kind of fill in some stuff. So what it sounds like now is. Yeah, so before I go to the vocals, these sort of perks, again, similar to these vocally sort of effects, these sort of chops, just to fill in space, just to give it more groove, just to give it more rhythm. So these are the perks here.
Yeah, this is really interesting as well, and they're super like to the left and right, so it's always like you said, it's here, it's there, it's here, it's there, you know.
Well, exactly. So, for example, we take these three perks here. So, pretty sure that this is the exact same sound. This channel here is to the left. This channel's to the right.
Yeah.
So it's that playful sort of thing. And what I've done is actually the exact same sound, but then I've just pitched this down 2 more semitones down. So, and again, little things like that make a difference. So, what else we got? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
So just a bunch of different perk sounds, added a lot of reverb again. And like this is another thing. I probably in this whole track added way too much reverb, but for me it sounded good. It
No,
works, it fits. So like don't be afraid.
Yeah,
know?
it doesn't sound like it's packed with reverb, to be honest. It's
Yeah.
perfect spot, to be honest.
Cool. Yeah. No, good. Glad to hear that. And then yeah, so again, so as you start to build the track up, and like it's kind of weird. Like, how do you know? I guess how to do this or where to put these things, and a lot of it just comes down to trial and error. It's like you find a sound that might work, chuck it in there, put it in a place that you think could fit. It sounds good, leave it in there and keep going. Like, don't think about it too much.
Oh,
You know.
perfect. Yeah, perfect. I love this because I preach this as well.
Absolutely, man. It's like music should just kind of come out of you and flow out of you onto the screen. You know.
Yeah.
So what else we got? Then we got a quiet, but it's kind of hard to know like when is too much as well. So what I kind of like to do is just chuck a lot of stuff on, see what sticks, and then strip it back again. Take out all the stuff that's not really needed. So you're left with the good stuff essentially.
Yeah.
And then there's this choir sound. Again, one's to the left, one's to the right. Just to add, and I'm only doing it for this period here, then I'm dropping out again. Then I'm doing this period here, dropping it out again. Just again, keep it changing, keep it sounding fresh. So this is the sound, and then the additional layer comes in.
So it's also usually okay. This is an octave
So
higher
it's
as
just like,
well.
yeah, and I think it's slightly in a different key maybe as well. Or like I think the actual chord of the choir is a tiny bit different, but that's why it sounds a bit.
It's
different as
samples.
well.
You're getting these samples from Splice and stuff, or
Oh yeah, a lot of these samples do come from Splice, but again, it just depends on the packs that I've used. Again, some of these packs come from YouTube as well. Like you don't have to go out and spend crazy amounts of money on all these different exclusive packs. You can get a lot of this shit for free, or you can go on Splice. And like, I'm a big fan of Splice, and I use it a lot for sure. But I think there's a fine line. You need to know how to not use Splice at the same time. So if you're just a new producer and you're just solely relying on Splice, where you come in and you're just dragging and dropping, then it's going to be so hard for you to learn the additional things that make you a much better producer as well. So I think just use those things. They're there to be used, but when you're learning, try and kind of push yourself and teach yourself everything, not just the drag and drop of the loops.
yes, lovely.
But yeah, in this track especially, like a lot of it has been loop based, or not loop based, sorry, but a lot of it has been samples. Even the vocals, which I'll get to now. So this was just again from a pack, and I just dragged and dropped it in, and it sounded really cool, so I kept it in there. So
You are now in the state of suspended animation.
I love it.
yeah, and then you add the lead.
For the right vibration, it takes a certain sound.
Very housey as well.
Yeah.
You can't dispute this truth.
And then on this one,
Face the music.
Yeah, as soon as I heard the face the music sample, I was like, oh fuck yeah, we're on here. And I knew it's like even before putting it into the thing, I wanted this delay to happen. So
The music, the music, the music, the
Yes, yes,
music,
yes.
the
and
music.
so I'm pretty sure I just added. Where did I? Anyway, I added a delay somewhere. I don't even know how.
I just saw it maybe in the group.
Oh, here,
Oh
here.
yeah, it's right there.
But
Yeah.
I think what I oh yeah, so this entire channel just has the delay. So anyway, I won't get into it, but that's essentially that's how it sounds there. What else? I guess so. Then after that, I guess we can kind of go more into the breakdown. There's a few sounds in here for the
There's a really
breakdown.
cool sound that it's lovely. It's this kind of it's an alarm. Yeah, it's probably that one.
Yeah, it's this one here. I'd say.
Yeah, this is like a classic sound, man, and I love fucking classic sounds. So whenever people use this kind of weird stuff that are really like not meant to be there, that's why I love this track, dude.
Well, thank you, Ed. Yeah, I don't know why, but the alarm just like I've used it in a few tracks since. Not this exact same alarm, but that sort of
Yeah,
alarm concept. I don't know. It's just there's something about it that sounds cool, and it just kind of works. I
yeah,
don't.
yeah. yeah. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool indeed, dude.
Thanks, man. So we got this impact here. Again, just add some flavor. Then we got the alarm sound. Sorry, that delay is going to be really annoying. Maybe I'll shut that delay off. So I got this delay here, which is just a send delay onto this.
Oh, can you show us
And
your your after you're done explain? Can you show us like your what's your return tracks look like?
yeah. So well, this one I'm pretty sure I just set this one up just for this alarm sound, just because I want it to have this 16th. So it's very, very delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hear the delay come in. So it's like, and then like I don't know. I just thought that worked. And then what I also did with this alarm is every new alarm, I increased it semitones related to the not the octave, related to the key that it's in. So, for example, I went up one note in the key, and then again up a note in the key. So it's this sound here. Then the next one's a little bit higher. And kind of keep going. And then on the last one, I drop it back down to, I think, the middle again.
Yes.
That was just like a little trick. Again, like I haven't really seen or thought of anyone doing that, but during the session, I was like, let's just try it. And I feel like it works. So, so that was one of the sort of main elements of the breakdown. And then there's just also this sort of impact sound that I found and just repeated. And again, I automated some effects here. I think that should be like that, but should be more like that, but I must have missed that. And so it's expanding both ways on the EQs as it comes up, and then
Then it drops back down. Yeah.
and then this should be there.
Oh, so it's the same sample.
So I guess so. I didn't actually realize that. So
Yeah.
this impact here, again, a lot of these things I don't really think about. I just kind of do them, and as I go. So I got that impact, duplicate it, reverse it, whatever. Like, anyway, so I did that with the rise, and then I think I just got this riser sound, just to add some tension. So the whole sort of this section. Actually, sorry, I'll go through the snare roll. So I got this snare roll that I use in not all my tracks, but a lot of the tracks that I feel like snare rolls needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure this comes with everyone's Ableton, the DS snare.
Yep.
Add the decay on that, and like you got a really cool sounding snare. Pretty much just put it into a 4x4 grid like that, and watch the magic sort of just happen. Increase the cutoff here, increase the decay, and it just builds up nicely. So
Yeah.
So that's just that sound there, and then I pair this with the white noise riser that I use again in a lot of my tracks. And I feel like these sounds, the sort of the white noise and the snare sounds, like that's okay to just kind of repeat and use a lot, because that's just a universal sound, you know.
Of course,
Like,
yeah. It's imagine the guys making music like 20 years ago. They had the same drum kit, they had the same drum machines.
Yeah.
So who gives a fuck, you know, about a white noise and a rising snare, man? It's not like
Yeah,
you reuse
exactly.
You reuse your fucking 808 snare again, dude, on your riser, man. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. I think people get too serious about shit like that. But like, again, I understand it as well. Like, if you use the exact same lead sound in every fucking track, then sooner or later someone's got to get sick of it. So it's a
of
fine
course.
line. You know? I just think some of this is hard for people to really realize. So anyway, this is the white noise riser here. It's literally just what is this? Fucking wavetable
Operator, yeah.
What is this? Operator. And just EQ'd, added some reverb, and then I found online this cool little Ableton thing called Cutomatic, where essentially, if I automate this, how can I show you? So, like if I bring it up, it does
it's
this like weird.
Yeah, like a tremolo. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, almost like an LFO sort of thing.
Yeah, this is a stock Ableton, I believe, rack as well.
Yeah, okay, cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then also, as it's going up, I increase the stereo width, so it starts in the middle and then it sounds bigger as it goes on. Again, like, I'm not sure how much that actually adds to the track, but it's a little detail.
Yep.
And then so we got the rise section and the alarms. So if I just kind of do this, oops, and it just like.
Yeah, it's a huge riser as well, man. It's packed with energy, to be honest, as well, dude. It works.
And again, this is something I tried on this track for the first time, and it works. So I've been liking it and doing it a bit. So in the breakdown, so you go here. A lot of the times, especially in like melodic techno, I guess, or melodic sort of tracks, in the breakdown, it just cuts out completely. No drums, no bass, and it just goes really ambient, which is obviously very cool, and it gives a certain vibe, which is great. But for a lot of my tracks, because I'm playing a lot in clubs, and I'm essentially making club music. I want to keep that energy going through on the breakdown. So here I kind of kept the bass in, kept a few of the drums just to kind of keep that rhythm going, because you don't really want to completely lose the energy, in my opinion. So you got these hats, you got these claps, you got the bass, and then this is the thing that I tried. It's in this track that I've been liking, is where I put in the kick and the bass back in, but I just filter the entire track down, so it's got no actual bass. So.
Yep.
So, and it just, along with everything else, it just gives to that climbing feeling, and it's just, you feel like, all right, here we go, we're getting there, you know.
And it's always energetic, yeah. Like there's no loss of, like you said, there's no like drums are going, bass is going, the kick comes back in, but it's not at full force. So it's still driving, you know. It's driving. It's not like putting you in a sleepy, trancy mode state of mind, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You still have your four to
Exactly.
the floor kind of beat, and people are still like thumping the stomping their feet on the ground, so because the kick is still going. So yeah,
Exactly. And then when it finally hits, that's when people are like, "Oh, let's go," you know?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
sorry, I just gotta do this. But yeah, anyway, I feel like those are the most sort of main parts to this track. And again, the way I kind of made it is just I have a session, I sit down, I add some shit, and I just go from there. And I just keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. And I don't think about it too much. It's just you add, you move on, and then you reassess. Like once you, this probably took me 3 or 4 sessions to get the solid track in, and then maybe a session or two of just to kind of fix it
Polish.
up at the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Um, but yeah, it's I kind of work again. I just kind of go through the session. I'm not thinking about shit. At the end of the session, I'll listen back to it, and then I'll go into the next session with new ideas, being like, change this, change that. You know?
That's great. You know, speed is also like really really useful. Like people don't think speed is useful, but you have to be fast. You
Mm,
have to just flow because otherwise you might just get stuck and the track starts sounding like shit. You need to keep that
yeah,
inspiration flowing. You know, it's
dude, exactly.
I tell these people, I tell these guys a lot, like, yo, yeah, I made this track in like 2 months, and I'm like, dude, fuck me, man, 2 months,
Yeah,
you would have made like fucking 10 tracks in that time, dude. Like, speed it up a
yeah,
little bit. Yeah,
exactly.
like, don't like you said, don't overthink stuff. Overthinking is like the worst enemy of music production, I believe, man.
Absolutely, fucking absolutely. And you're right. If you can get a lot done quicker, you're way more likely to finish the track and it for it to be actually a good track.
Of
If you're
course,
second
yeah,
guessing every single little thing, then you're
yeah.
not going to get a track complete. And yeah, no,
And
I completely agree with that.
dude, and
Yeah.
I truly believe like the guy who's making 10 tracks in 2 months, it's probably gonna have more material, at least like, I don't know, playable or signable or whatever, if those are even words, than the guy who makes one track a month. You know, like one track.
100%.
Because you might end up making a shit track while the other guy made 10 fucking club tracks. Maybe two of them are
Yeah,
useful, but he has 10 solid tracks already done, you know? Like,
exactly.
it's,
I,
yeah.
I'll add to that by saying I think making a lot of music is the key. Absolutely. I also think finishing a lot of music is should be key. So you might have sessions where you're not really feeling a track, and that's fine. You have a good session, maybe 2 sessions on it, and you're not feeling it. If you're not feeling it, move on.
Move
Like get
on.
on with it.
Yeah,
Like
fuck
yeah,
yeah,
you're
move
done
on,
with
dude.
that one.
Yeah.
But if you feel like a track that I really like know has legs, or I know that has something about it, is a track that I want to get back in the studio and work on. If I'm making a track and I'm having a session, I'm like, fuck, it's like 1 a.m. I don't want to go to bed right now. That's a track that you know
You know,
is
has
probably
something. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and you're not going to get that with every track, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. It's don't think about it too much. It's all about the feeling and how you kind of how you feeling about the track.
Yeah,
I think.
no, no,
So,
that's great, man. Man, Rem, I really, really want to thank you for giving us this insight on how you make music and all these really cool tips.
hmm,
A lot of knowledge was shared today, and like not just music production knowledge, but like actual tips and advices. That's fucking great because sometimes people they tend to think about stuff and in a certain way, and if they get confirmation from somebody else that it's
yeah.
you might as well just like relax. Oh shit.
Oh,
You might as well just relax and like don't overthink it, and that's that's perfectly fine, so yeah, dude, it was fucking wonderful. I learned a lot, and I consider myself an advanced producer, but then I see some of your stuff, which is like really simple, not overthinking stuff, but it sounds really really strong. Then
hmm.
I'll apply some of this stuff myself, man. Fuck everybody else.
Yeah, fuck yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. And that like at the end of the day, it's just making music. Like it's your expression, like it's your process, and I think that's really key when you're going through the journey of learning music production is your process. Take the best bits from everyone that you hear about and make something unique. That's you, you know. So, no, I appreciate you having me on. This has actually been a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that I was able to talk about this track.
That's
So thank you
wonderful.
so
That's
much, man.
wonderful.
Appreciate
No,
it.
thank you for taking the message and being so open about it, because it's just great, you know, like sharing your stuff and having people like get the tips and just get better. It's you cannot be going up and take down the ladder, you know. If you're going up, then put the fucking ladder so people rise with you, not the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, man. Like it really is a community, and we're all just trying to make music, you know. Like, no, I
Exactly.
agree, man.
And
I'm really. It's really cool that you're doing this, by the way. I love that
thank
have
you, dude,
this.
thank you. And just the last production question I wanted to ask is just your sense and returns. Are you using like the Ableton stock shit?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, it's so fine.
Let's have a look. So I do have the. I'm pretty sure everyone has the reverb and the delay.
Mm-hmm.
I just added an EQ just to filter off the lows. Compressor on my delay as well, just so it doesn't go crazy. One of them is the Valhalla Supermassive. That's a sort of delay, sort of reverb, sort of sound. I'm
Yeah.
sure maybe a few of you know that one. Then I just got an Echo. So all of these kind of slightly different
Delays.
functions, but that
Okay.
mainly just for creating extra space on sounds. These
Yep.
ones, and then I got this really cool one. This is actually a really unique track that I use a lot. Oh, sorry, not a unique trick that I use a lot. Let's just say I put it on. What is it on? Number 5. So let's just get this. We'll do it on this one. So if I increase, so I know that's already got a reverb on it, but if I increase this one, which is this super effects, you'll hear what it does. Hold on.
Oh yeah, like a cool reverb and out of pan and delay and bunch of stuff in that background.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of random stuff. I picked that up from a pack from Superflu. They had like this pack that I bought. I think it
Production
was from
Music Live,
Production.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And it just had this cool thing in there that I now use quite a lot. So
Good shit. Good
if you're
shit.
listening to my tracks, you'll probably hear that sort of effect now and then. And then this one, I
That's for the
added in this
siren.
tracks for the siren. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So again, nothing too super complex. Like I know for a fact there are producers out there that are way more detailed about a lot of shit. So um, and which I'm still trying to learn and aspire to get to. You know, that's the goal. But at the end of the day, it's still just making music, and you don't have to be too complex. So
Nah, man, nah, it's perfectly fine. But yeah, dude, really, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot again. I think I speak for all the guys. The guys are probably gonna be very happy when they get to see this session.
yeah,
And
sick.
I'll let you know the feedback and all this stuff. But man, coming from me, and I think I speak for the rest of the dudes. Just thank you, dude. This has been really great.
Nah, man, thank you so much again. I really appreciate it, Julian. Just let me know when you've posted it. Send me through the stuff. I'd love to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll send you the file as well. You can have it and you can do whatever you want with it. And yeah, man, I'll also post it on my socials. I'll send it to you so you can post it on your like story or whatever. But yeah.
amazing, dude. I really appreciate it. I feel like we just made it in the nick of time as well.
Yeah, it's almost done.
20 seconds left. That's perfect.
But
Awesome.
yeah, dude, yeah, man. Thanks a lot for this, dude. Like really thanks a lot, man. And we'll be in touch, dude. Like I wanna
Yeah,
keep
for
on
sure.
hearing
100%.
your
We'll be
music
talking.
and you're a really cool guy, so fuck yeah, man. Let's keep this going.
You too, man. For sure. I'll catch you soon, brother.
Peace, brother.
Easy.
Bye, man.